welcome back to Blue Flag Bandits, the series that drives F1's worst car since 2010, so you don't have to, in the often pretty desperate hunt for points. And it's the Italian Grand Prix, the final European rain of the season before we go to the likes of Singapore and Japan and Malaysia. And we arrive here off the back of a double DNF from Germany and Belgium, both times ending up in the wall. One of them kind of my fault. Both times, though, mixed conditions and leading portions of the race. It's not been a good few rounds for us since that 1 point at Silverstone, to a point now that after what had to be the most cursed top 10 of all time, with Massa winning ahead of Kvyat and Magnussen, we've slipped to 14th in the drivers' standings when we get there. Just a few spots ahead of Pascal and behind Daniel Kvyat. Kevin Magnussen caught right up to us as well, whereas at the other end, Lewis Hamilton leads Sebastian Vettel by 90 points after Max Verstappen retired. It was his safety car that kind of tripped the race on its head in Belgium. He's third ahead of Kimi Räikkönen, and it's Ricciardo, Bottas, Rosberg, Massa, Perez, Button, Hülkenberg and Alonso. There's Kvyat nicking our spot ahead of us and Magnussen, then it's Sainz, Wehrlein, Gutierrez got points, Nasser got points as well. So they are now off the mark ahead of Jolyon Palmer. Then it's just Grosjean and Ericsson without at the bottom of the standings. Mercedes lead the constructors by 69 points ahead of Ferrari, Red Bull a third. Then it's Williams, Force India, McLaren. Toro Rosso jumped us because, of course, they did, though Pascal did pick up points last time out at least. Renault are now closing in because they had a great result. And then it's Haas and Sauber. And Monza, a circuit, one of the few left that we have not actually scored at all in this series, and we're coming in off the back of a terrible run of form. The frustrating thing is that pretty much every race this season, maybe with the exception of Hungary, where I think we didn't have pace, we've been in and amongst the points. We led the last two races during safety cars and mixed conditions, and we still couldn't come out with points. We qualified second in Germany and still couldn't come out with points. It's not going well at the moment. We have come in with a little bit of an engine power upgrade though, which is perfect timing for Monza, but we really need to score some points. We are still 8 points behind the 2012 total of HRT. I think at this point the 2010 total for Virgin and the 2015 total for McLaren are probably out of reach unless we have an absolutely incredible run for the rest of the season, winning races left, right and centre, which is unlikely. But Monza is one of the few, like I said, that we've raced where we've yet to score points. In terms of that lack of points scored so far in this series, it's Monza. In Austria we're yet to score, yet to score in Austria. It was Britain, but obviously we completed that a couple of rounds ago. And technically, I guess, Baku, but we've only done the European Grand Prix there this season. We haven't done an Azerbaijani Grand Prix, so technically not Baku, but we have only raced there once. This is the last the races, as I say, that we've done every season that we've yet to score in. Korea as well, but we're never going back there. So that's just going to have to remain as is. Hopefully, though, we can use the pace we've been showing to our advantage here and come out on the other side with some points. Might even be able to beat Fernando Alonso in the rivalry, who knows. But let's go to practice, see how this car feels around the Temple of Speed. While we do, we'll talk about the real world 2016 Italian Grand Prix. The final European race of the season was held at its traditional home of Monza for the Italian Grand Prix, with the gap between Hamilton and Rosberg at the top of the Drivers' Championship down to just 9 points. Practice 1 was a largely uneventful affair, Alonso limping back to the pits near the end with an apparent technical problem being the only incident of note. Like much of 2016, Rosberg would top the times ahead of Hamilton, while Räikkönen would end the session third, over a second behind the lead Mercedes. There were a few more mechanical gremlins during the second practice session. Massa was delayed by a brake sensor issue, while Ocon ground to a halt after just 13 laps. Mercedes would once again top the times with Hamilton ahead of Rosberg and Vettel, though Ferrari had closed the gap somewhat. Practice 3 would see Mercedes stretch their legs once again, however. As much like the first session, the lead silver arrow of Hamilton would be just shy of a second clear of the red car in third, Vettel the only driver to get within a second. Rosberg once again set this up second, fastest time. Only 21 cars would take to the track during Q1 as Esteban Ocon's Manor was unable to take part with a technical fault. He'd be joined in the drop zone by Kvyat, Massa, Ericsson, Palmer and Magnussen. Q2 would see Felipe Massa drop out, Williams unable to make it into the shootout, which would present an opportunity for Haas to make it into Q3 for the first time since joining the grid. Grosjean would be the Haas that made it through though, dropping out alongside Massa, alongside Wehrlein, Button and Sainz.
We shouldn't see any rain, but if a storm front does appear, then we'll let you know.
The final part of qualifying would be a straight shootout between the Mercedes for pole, one that saw Hamilton deliver a knockout blow to Rosberg on his first run before stretching his advantage in second. Behind the Mercedes front row would be Vettel, Raikkonen, Bottas, Ricciardo, Verstappen, Perez, Hülkenberg, and the Haas of Gutierrez. Despite his dominance in qualifying, Hamilton got a poor start, ceding the lead to Rosberg off the line and dropping behind both Ferraris, Ricciardo and Bottas. The Mercedes would outpace the Red Bull quickly, but it would be a struggle to pass the Mercedes-powered Williams while Rosberg drove away at front. The Silver Arrows had used the more durable soft tyres during Q2, meaning that Hamilton knew he'd have the superior strategy on the Ferraris ahead, but he couldn't seem to close in on his teammate. Hamilton would get past the Ferraris early on, especially through the pit stops, but the race was a fairly sedate affair from then on. Alonso having an issue in the pit lane which cost him time, Massa getting a penalty for forcing Palmer off track, and Ricciardo sending an audacious move on Bottas at the Rettifilio, the only real action of note during a pretty unspectacular Italian Grand Prix. Rosberg would win the race and close the championship gap to 2 points, with Hamilton coming in second. Vettel would complete the podium ahead of Raikkonen, Ricciardo, Bottas, Verstappen, Perez, Massa and Hülkenberg. After 2 successive DNFs, we really need to get back into the points sooner rather than later. And that starts with a good qualifying here to avoid the almost inevitable turn 1 carnage. This car has at least got some pace, so we're finally in a position to save ourselves a Q1 exit, I think, particularly as we are development-wise faster than Renault and Sauber and Haas. I think we may even just have enough to get into the shootout, but only just. So we're going to aim for 10th place, start in the points, avoid the carnage, and hopefully come home with some more points on the board after a struggle of the 2016 so far.
Qualifying is about to start here at the Autodromo di Monza for the Italian Grand Prix. The teams are about to head out onto the track any minute now. When it comes to getting lap time out of this circuit, it's traditionally been about maximising top speed. Do you simply remove as much downforce as possible, hang on into the corners and max out down the straights?
The teams will have arrived with all manner of parts designed to capitalise on the long straights. The cars will be that much harder to drive in the corners, but everyone will be in the same boat.
Right, it's not going to be easy getting into the next qualifying session, but we know you'll give it your all.
Of course I will, Jeff. That's what we do here. Thank you, Anton Crofty, as well. It is qualifying at Monza. Car felt all right in practice. Didn't really, I don't think, give it the absolute maximum we could. But this is a circuit of fine margins, very much like Austria. It's going to just be a case of putting a foot down and praying a little bit. I'd like to think we can squeeze through to Q2 because we've had a bit of a run out of late. But the form in the races hasn't been as good. So if we end up sacrificing qualifying to have a better race, then so be it. But let's go see what we can do in the first part.
You're nearly out of fuel, almost out of fuel. You need to pit within the next 2 laps.
Fastest lap in Q1 then, and we ran our fuel down to the fumes as we head into the Rettifilo chicane. Try and get this nice and neat and tidy, and we do, and get a really nice exit as well, which actually sees our time go green. Moving slightly to the middle of the track before swinging it back to the right through Curva Grande to take the shortest possible line through this long right-hander as we head towards the Della Roggia chicane. We're up on our best time thus far. We get a really nice run through here. Clip the sausage curb just a mite, but we're not too bad there. As we head towards the Lesmos, into the first Lesmo, you want to try and take the slight bit of camber that's on the inside, and we do, to swing the car in. There's lots more camber in the second one. Clip the inside curb. Avoid running too far wide though, because if you collapse the gravel, ruins your run all the way down to Ascari. As you can see, we're nearly half a second up on our best time. Ascari is one of the few places on this circuit you can really take advantage of the curbs, and we use a lot of them through 1, 2 and 3 of the Ascari chicane as we then head down towards Curva Michele Alboreto, otherwise known as the Parabolica. You can see the lap times are coming down and we are still looking pretty good. But as we head into the Parabolica, we keep it nice and neat and tidy, tight to the apex, swing the car to the middle of the circuit and then take the shortest possible run, crossing that white line ever so slightly. Fastest lap on the board, that should see us through. Comfortably through into Q2 then with a 6th place. And Sebastian Vettel, you might be able to see there, has got a 5-place grid drop for something or other. Nico Rosberg, Daniel Ricciardo, there's Perez and Massa and Hulkenberg. That's a bit mixed up. Obviously a few guys there on the softs rather than the super softs. Pascal gets through as well in 13th. Grosjean's through for Haas. Alonso just about scrapes through ahead of Nasser, Ericsson, Magnussen, Kvyat, Gutierrez and Palmer. You're eliminated drivers in Q1. I don't know if there's a huge amount more time I've got in the tank here, but into Q2 at least, it's a good result. In the garage then for Q2 at Monza. Car feels good. We hook up a lap, we can get a really good time on the board and hopefully maybe even squeeze into Q3 because we were comfortably in there, but there were a few drivers who ran the softs in Q1 and we were on the super softs, so you'd expect that pace to drop. Maybe though, we can get another Q3 appearance this season at Monza as well. Let's go get it. And to our fastest lap in Q2, and it was right at the start of the second qualifying session rather than waiting until the fuel was run down. Cardo really had some pace in its pocket heading into the Rettifilo chicane a little earlier on the turn in this time, but it does mean you can get a really nice swing through the exit and get on the power nice and early up towards Curva Grande. Once again, much like Q1, move to the middle and then back to the right hand side to take the shortest possible run through Curva Grande, heading towards the Rettifilo. Looking pretty good at the moment as we banged through the middle of that chicane. Again, a little tap of the outside curb or the sausage curb through the second half, but nothing that unsettles the car through the first Lesmo. Taking a lot of exit curb there to keep pace up as we then head into Lesmo 2. Took a second bite of the cherry a little bit there on turning. Ran wide again, but kept the pace up as we head down towards the Ascari chicane. There's a car just up the road. We're hoping we'll keep far enough away from it for it not to affect our lap. Again, you can really abuse the curbs through Ascari, and that's exactly what we do. Running very wide to get the best possible exit as we head down towards Curva Michele Alboreto. Not going to be affected by the car in front, and we just drift to the middle of the circuit before clipping the inside apex. Getting on the power nice and early, swinging the car to the right to take that short run to the line, and again, topping the times, should be enough to see us through. Easily into Q3 at Monza. Lewis tops the times ahead of Verstappen and Bottas. We slot into 4th spot, just half a second off. Rosberg, Ricciardo, Vettel all on soft tyres, so probably can still go a little bit quicker. Perez, Raikkonen and Hulkenberg also getting through. Means that Felipe Massa, Romain Grosjean, Jenson Button, Fernando Alonso, Pascal Sainz all out. Pascal only beating Carlos Sainz in the end there as well. But 4th spot. We've got pace here. Hopefully we can continue this form into Q3, get a decent starting spot, and maybe go all out to try and get some points at Monza. But let's see what Q3 has to offer. In the garage then for the most unexpected Q3 appearance of the season, here at Monza, we've been quick. If I can nail a lap, if I can really put it together, we might be able to get on the front couple of rows, but it is going to be tricky. A few drivers made it into Q3 just using the soft tyre, we've been using the super softs, and we're going to have a little bit of wear, but it should mean that the grip will come to us earlier. Let's see though if we can shake up the order. Time then for our fastest lap in Q3, and that's Monza. It's not a huge amount to talk around, really, is there? Heading down towards the Rettifilia chicane, much like Q2, getting this on our first attempt. Really nice run into the Rettifilia chicane, swinging the car really nicely before gunning it out towards Curva Grande. Not quite in the middle of the circuit this time, get really close to the grass as we head up towards Curva Grande, and then kind of swing the car out a little bit, trying to slingshot more than gradually turn around into the Della Roggia chicane. Awful lot of curb on the exit or through the middle of the corner, which might cost me a little bit of time, but doesn't unsettle me too much as we head through the first Lesmo. A little bit of apex on the outside, that means we keep pace up. A little bit of apex on the outside of Lesmo 2 as well. But again, nothing too bad, nothing too egregious as we head up towards Ascari. Really pushing everything we've got with this car. Not quite as fast in Sector 2 as we are in Sector 1, but we run through Ascari really nicely. Don't take a huge advantage of the curves this time, but run out wide to keep the pace up, heading towards Curva Michele Alboreto. Very much pushing again with everything that we've got, get on the brakes at just the right time, swing the car in, clip the apex a little bit, having to lift the throttle just a touch, but then all the way to the right, almost as if we're going into the pits to take the shortest line. Second, but where will we end up at the end of the session?
So qualifying is complete and we're all set for an exciting race tomorrow. Your top 3 are Hamilton, Rosberg and Valtteri Bottas. Goodbye for now then, but we're really just getting started. Make sure to join us again for Lights Out tomorrow.
5th place at Monza, just under half a second behind Lewis Hamilton. Couldn't find any more time, pushed as hard as we could, but it's an all Mercedes front row. Hamilton ahead of Rosberg, then it's Bottas, Ricciardo. We're 5th. We'll be lining up next to Nico Hulkenberg because Vettel has a 5-place grid drop. Then it's Raikkonen, Verstappen and Perez also making it through to the top 10. I think that means that Vettel will be down in 11th spot come start of the race. 5th is great. It's a really good place to be. It's a long run down towards the Rettifilia chicane now, and we all know what happens at T1 at Monza. So this race could be decided for 1 or 2 people into turn 1. Let's hope that's not me, and let's hope we can make it through and maybe actually get some points, because it's been quite the season of disappointment on that front. But let's cross to the race.
It's race day here in Italy once again. Monza, home to so many records. The smallest winning margin, for example. Do you remember in 1971, Peter Gethin beat Ronnie Peterson to the line by 1/100th of a second. There were 40 overtakes for the lead alone in 1965, and Kimi Raikkonen clocked a record top speed of 230 miles per hour here, just over a decade ago. So there's a lot to live up to then for all of our drivers today. With top speeds in excess of 220 miles per hour, few places can hope to touch Monza's crown as the fastest circuit in Formula 1. Hard braking zones going into 3 chicanes make up the majority of the 11 corners on this 3.6-mile circuit. And just in case the slipstream wasn't enough, well, 2 DRS zones will help encourage some close action. It's a very tight turn 1 here and a very big braking zone. It's a corner, Anthony Davidson, where we've seen a number of lap 1 incidents in the past.
As you say, it's a very small piece of track when you have more than just one car trying to go through it. The actual run down towards the chicane is quite wide, so off the start we'll often see drivers running 2 or maybe 3 abreast as they come up towards the braking zone. Everyone wants to brake late, of course, to win track position, and that tends to be where we see a lot of contact. And you'll see the more experienced drivers kind of hang back a little into here and focus more on picking up the pieces from other people's incidents.
You can run side by side into the rettifilio, but don't brake too late on these cold tyres or you will hit someone.
With that then, let's run through the grid order. An immense lap from Lewis Hamilton yesterday puts him on pole position, with Nico Rosberg alongside. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Bottas, Ricciardo, Manor and Hülkenberg, Raikkonen, Verstappen, Perez and Felipe Massa, Vettel, Grosjean, Jenson Button and Alonso, Wehrlein, Sainz, Felipe Nasser and Marcus Ericsson, Magnussen and Kvyat, Esteban Gutierrez and Jolyon Palmer rounds off the grid. And with preparations almost complete, let's head down to the track.
Thank you then, Anton Crofty, and here we are, 5th spot on the grid at Monza, and the rain has arrived. We've gone on a bit of a run of wet to dry or wet races, and we have decent pace in these conditions, but we've still not been able to convert any of them, and that's where the problem lies this season in terms of us scoring good points. Listen, this could really mix up the order. We saw that in the last round at Belgium, we saw that in Germany as well to an extent, so maybe the rain is a good omen for us. Holding on to 5th is going to be tough. If we make spots off the grid, then great. Holding on to them will also be difficult. I'm going to aim for 7th spot. Again, I really just want to get points over the line, particularly heading into Singapore, where we've only failed to score once. And I think if we can have a couple of good rounds in a row here in Singapore, before going to the likes of Japan and Malaysia, maybe we can push ourselves into a better position come season's end. But we really do need to convert one of these good grid spots, and I'm really hoping that today is the day. So, let's get the 5 red lights on and out again for the 2016 Italian Grand Prix. Come the lights then, the 3rd, the 4th and the 5th. And away we go. At Monza, Hülkenberg has got an incredible start. We've gone across to block him. He's been caught out by Ricciardo's poor start. Look at Valtteri Bottas trying to go through the middle of the 2 Mercedes into turn 1. Surely there's going to be contact. Hamilton has to swing wide, and they've all come together. And the 2 Mercedes and Bottas are off. And we're in the lead of the Italian Grand Prix. Hamilton's out. Hamilton is out of this race at turn 1, and the VSC is out once again.
Slow down and maintain a positive delta. Virtual safety car is deployed. Okay,
Right off to get the delta time.
Delta is negative, which means you are too fast. Reduce your pace.
See, something was going to happen into turn 1. He just hung back. It said we collided with Bottas. I might have given him just maybe a little tap. It would have only been minor. He was already between the 2 Mercedes. Hamilton got a little wide into the rettifilio, and that's what happened with us and Raikkonen back at Germany. The wheels just connected, and that's it. You're stuck together. There's no way you can go. And yeah, we were off into the barrier there as well. They all went off into the gravel. Now Hamilton is out. This is a golden opportunity for Vettel and Verstappen behind to take some points out of him. But they are quite a distance off. We've got to be very careful here. The VSC is done, and away we go at Italy. And we're leading the Grand Prix for the 3rd race in a row. Ricciardo now looks to have decent pace, and they have got it right on the restart. We ran a little wide into the parabolic. If we can cross the line leading, I will take that. Settle into a bit of a rhythm. There we go. We're crossing the line in the lead here at Monza. I think Pascal's well up in the points as well, next to the carnage at T1. Realistically, we need to just Keep it clean, keep it tidy. And let's try not to have contact, because we feel they're going to come back at us. And when they do, defending too hard could cost us actually scoring points.
Good job. That was the fastest lap of the race so far.
Fastest lap for us, and we are actually gapping Ricciardo. Obviously this is a circuit where not a massive amount can go wrong, you'd think. It's really just straight chicane, couple of long bends, chicane. Fairly straightforward, but getting the power down out of these corners can prove to be tricky in conditions like this, but we are just going a bit of a gap here. Just keeping it nice and tidy. Ricciardo back there.
We're expecting you in around 2 laps, and we'll be putting you on the intermediate tyres.
Sign of the rain shifting at this stage, but we are still, as we bounce over the sausage curves, getting away from Ricciardo and Perez. A few tenths a lap. It's been a fairly calm opening to this Grand Prix. Maybe we can finally deliver on the potential we've been showing all season. Be nice. We are heading into the pits at the end of this lap. Not a lot has gone on since turn 1, realistically. A couple of slightly scary moments where we've tapped the grass or the gravel or something similar, but nothing has caused an issue. No spins, no crashes, no damage. Ricciardo looks to be headed in as well. Perez, Raikkonen and Verstappen all fighting together. I'd assume Verstappen's going to go by. Perez as well. Raikkonen looks to have... Raikkonen's gone through 2. So we'll flip to 4th. At least for now. Here comes Jensen Button, so maybe we'll slip to 5th as well. Yes, we will. These guys are all going to need to pit in. Oh, we got that all wrong.
We're seeing minor damage to the front wing. Be easy on the car till we get it repaired. We don't want to risk making this worse.
Picked up damage coming out of the pits. Got our braking point all wrong heading towards turn 1. Collected Jensen Button, but we should be fine with that. We'll have another pit stop to go anyway, so we'll fix that at the next stop. Hopefully won't affect us too badly. Just in this stint, going for the next one. Too plain sailing, I guess.
Perez is out in front.
Perez leads at the moment. Him, Raikkonen and Verstappen heading in. We will retake the lead of this one. Then Pascal will go in as well. Ricciardo to get back in front of him. Yes, he does. He's now back in 2nd. Perez still in 3rd. Ricciardo was about 8 seconds when we pitted. Hoping we've not lost any time. A little, not too much though.
Drying, but it's going to take a while to clear the standing water off the line. Don't start thinking about slicks just yet.
It's a radio message I don't think I wanted to hear. I was kind of hoping we'd just run this out to the end in the inters. Apparently the track is drying out. No other calls about rain stopping or anything like that. Now, we wait to see if we need to make the switch to dries. So we'll definitely need to fix the front wing. Will that cost us big in terms of pace?
We're considering switching to an alternate strategy. Do you want to change or stick to plan A?
coming in looking at switching to an alternate strategy. We'll hold off, stick to the lap 18 as our pit lap. Second or so advantage over Ricciardo as well. So we'll keep it repaired for the front wing. So we're ready in case it does switch to dry tyres. Quite a distance in front of Kimi Räikkönen. It's our fastest lap, so track is improving.
Keep this up. To the car behind is 8.5 seconds.
Felipe Nasr is there's the safety car because of course it is.
Keep your delta number positive as we form up.
Maybe you pit now then. After all.
Drop your speed, our delta is too low and we risk a penalty. Slow your pace immediately.
We've come to a stop to get the delta time down.
Confirmed, we'll receive you at the end of this lap.
Awkward. Give up track position here by going in. Oh, now they're right in the middle of the track. Oh, that is awkward, fair enough. Safety car deployed for a good reason.
Okay, slow down, slow down. Your delta is negative, which means you are too fast. Reduce your pace.
We head into the pits. I wonder if Ricciardo heads in as well. If he doesn't, it doesn't look like he is. No, Ricciardo stays out. Ricciardo will inherit the lead, but he will need to come in. Quite a queue of cars coming up the start-finish straight.
Release, release.
You can get in front of them. Where we're going to. We get to form up. We get to form up in 7th. And we'll be in a couple of laps. We should be able to run out to the end on these tyres. Close to the back of the matter. Avoiding, right?
Situation is
my
an
mouth
interesting
for a moment
one,
there.
but I think the right call is to stick with what we've got right now.
And we're going to have to switch to dry tyres soon. I do hope not. Really hope everybody goes in for their next stop before that happens. As we tap Massa, really only just slow right down behind the safety car. Unnecessarily slowly quite a lot of the time as well.
See any rain, but if a storm front does appear, then we'll let you know.
The rain has apparently stopped or eased off enough, but there's still intermediate conditions out here. Soon we're going to see cars in the pits at the end of this lap. If we do, and they go back to inters, then we might be alright. If they go to dries, may then struggle. We should have kept our track position.
Okay, let's get ready to go racing again. The safety car is in this lap. When the field accelerates, remember, there is no overtaking until the green flags. Safety car in this lap.
Safety car in this lap. No talk of switching to dries just yet. So that could be good news for me. A couple of decent safety car restarts this season where we've managed to get the jump on some people. Do it here as well, that would be great for us. leads the way. He's gone for it now.
Okay, some
Right up
information
behind
on
Massa,
Perez. They're
who
slowing
heads
down.
in.
It seems like there's some kind of
Ricciardo in as well. Perez is slowing down, very slow.
To the car in front is
Oh, he's got damage.
2 seconds.
He has big damage. So it is Raikkonen, Verstappen, Hulkenberg, the top three. We're in fourth. Everybody just trying to pick their way around Perez. A chunk of cars into the pits as well. Interesting to see what they've moved to tyre-wise. Faster than the trio ahead. And all the cars that went in at the back, they've all gone in and fitted intermediate tyres again. And it looks like they're actually all stuck behind Sergio Perez, who is still somehow getting round. It looked like he was missing either a wing or damaged a wheel or something. But he's still crawling along. These three, I think, like I say, should be heading into the pits, and if they do, will retake the lead of this race and be a long way in front. They do all indeed go in. So we retake the lead of the Italian Grand Prix, lap 20 of 27.
Pascal is in the pits.
With the best part of half a lap ahead. Of the guys that have already pit, everyone who just pit in is still going to come out ahead of all the drivers they were stuck behind before the pit stops. This race has turned on its head for them. Perez is still going. We will catch him soon enough, so we've got to be very careful. Still be a move to dry tyres on the cars here as well.
Caution, yellow flags ahead. No overtaking through the caution zone. Be careful until you see the greens.
Whereabouts on the road is Sergio Perez? You can see him, there he is. Seems like he's stuck in gear.
Okay, the incident has been cleared. Let's get back up to racing speed.
Something similar, we've lapped him. He's still crawling round. I wonder if he's going to try and box and retire. And pull that off the road and retire. The rest of the field is all together some 20 seconds further back. Just got to keep it clean, I guess, surely. It's Checo putting it into the box. Yes, he is. Just a couple of laps to go in this one. The gap does remain stable. Really just ticking off the corners now to the end. Doesn't matter if we lose a bit of time, as long as we don't make a big mistake or hit a wall or pick up damage. Just got to keep it clean and tidy now. We may finally be able to deliver on the promise that we've been threatening for the last few races. It's also been a brilliant way to finally score points at Monza.
Some information on Button. They've got a serious car issue. It looks like they're retiring.
And Button pulls off to the side of the road at the Della Roggia chicane. Looks like he's actually taken a few people with him. Pascal looks to have just made it through. Shouldn't be a safety car this late on in the day, as we're heading towards the final lap of the race, but Button doesn't make it. Or he might fall behind Sergio Perez if Perez manages to get his lap back on him. But we are entering the final lap of this race. It isn't the Della Roggia, it's the Rex Filio, so Button will be up here on the side of the road. Fastest lap of the race.
Final lap of the race.
Track is practically dry as we head to the yellow flags.
The next part of the track, no overtaking through the yellow flags.
Back it off, there's Jensen. Well off the road at least. But it was an incident between the two Mercedes and Valtteri Bottas at the Rettifilia that gave us the lead. We had the pace all race to to just pull away. Rosberg picked our fastest lap right at the death. We got away from Ricciardo, we pulled out a gap, we got to the first set of stops, easily in the lead. Headed into the pits, collected the Jensen button, and got a bit of wing damage. Didn't bother us too much though, we were still comfortably out in front, and it was a safety car for Felipe Nasr. We took the opportunity to pit in then, repair the front wing. We fell to 11th as the rain had stopped, and we were wondering if there was going to be a switch to dries, but an issue for Sergio Perez ended up electing half the field. We retook the lead after the safety car went in and everybody had taken their pit stops, and we have since just kind of cruised our way to a result that has been coming this season. Checking behind us for no reason other than to see that there's nobody there. We'll round the Parabolica for the final time. We'll pick up our first ever points at Monza. We'll pick up our first win of this season, one that we could have had plenty of times, but we win the Italian Grand Prix.
Fantastic drive, just fantastic. You deserved that race win.
And now let's take a look at the driver's standings. Well, the gap at the top of the championship has been cut down after a difficult race today for our championship leader. Now then, Anthony Davidson, who was your driver of the day?
I'd say Max Verstappen earns that title today. Opportunistic, I think, is the word. It's something he's become known for during his short career so far, and it's served him well here.
On to the constructors then. Mercedes have extended their lead at the top of the standings. It was also a standout performance from Manor Racing today. Great stuff from them to move up the standings. It was great having you with us for this weekend. I hope you enjoyed it as much as we did. Until next time though, goodbye.
Well, to paraphrase Daniel Ricciardo at this very circuit in 2020, or was it 21? I never left. We take victory, something we've been threatening for a lot of this season, but especially in the last two rounds at Belgium and Germany. This time, though, we cruise home 20 seconds clear of Max Verstappen. Nico Hülkenberg stands on the podium for Force India ahead of Rosberg, then it's Raikkonen, Bottas, Ricciardo. Down in 7th in the end after being in 2nd for so long. Massa takes 8th, Wehrlein gets points in 9th. Even more points for Manor, and Sebastian Vettel takes 10th. Alonso is 11th ahead of Grosjean, Magnussen, Kvyat, Gutierrez, Palmer, Ericsson, Sainz, and then there's Sergio Perez a lap down after his problems. Out of the race, Jensen Button right at the end, Felipe Nasr and Lewis Hamilton right at the start. What does that do to the stand-ins? Well, the gap is still 79 points between Lewis and now Max, who moves back into 2nd. He's 10 clear of both Vettel and Raikkonen, who are level. Then it's Bottas, Ricciardo, Rosberg, Massa, Perez, Hülkenberg and Button. We move up to 10th and past the 50-point mark. We're ahead now of Fernando Alonso and Daniel Kvyat. Magnussen is 15th. Wehrlein moves ahead of Sainz into 16th, and then it is Gutierrez, Nasr and Palmer. Romain Grosjean and Marcus Ericsson still yet to score. In the constructors, Mercedes still lead the way by 70 points from Ferrari, who are 8 clear of Red Bull. Then it's Williams, Force India, McLaren. We move back into 7th and 24 clear of Toro Rosso now, who slips at 8th. Renault remain 9th. Haas remain 10th. And Sauber remain 11th and last. And I said we'd been threatening that for a couple of rounds. I said we needed to get points. I said right at the start that I thought we would probably pick up, I don't know, the 7th at 8th. Not one bit of it. An intermediate race all the way through at Monza. Pace for days. Got away from everybody at the start. Drove off. We're helped a little bit by Sergio Perez's incidents or problems. And we managed to navigate the safety car. And we still came out victorious and comfortably victorious. What a way to get back in the points. Exactly what we needed. That now makes Manor Racing Team the 3rd best team in Blue Flag Bandits so far. That's again been coming for quite some time this season. Finally though, we pass HRT at 2012. And we move on to Singapore, our most successful circuit in this series. Only once have we avoided points. Only once have we missed points in Singapore, and that was in that 2014 catering. I think that was my own fault, if I remember rightly. Who knows though, maybe we can get back to winning ways in Singapore, because it's a circuit we're surprisingly in this series good at. But that was really fun, really enjoyable. Maybe not the most exciting race to drive, but all we needed to do was keep it pointing in the right direction and come away with a great result. Thank you so much for watching. Like, share, comment, subscribe, do all the good stuff. I'll see you for the next one at Marina Bay. Take care of yourselves. Bye for now.